And anyone who saw the cinnamon raisin square video that I did understands my apprehension on taking this out of the loaf pan. Welcome back to the Anabolic Hub, where we make anabolic deliciousness. We're back inside my kitchen today for an original recipe. We're going to be doing cinnamon swirl banana bread loaf. Oh man, this one is delicious. Found the perfect set of ingredients. I think you're really going to love it. Let's get right to it here by taking a look at the ingredients. Here we go. Unsweetened applesauce, non-fat Greek yogurt, plain, vanilla extract, egg whites, a relatively ripe banana, homemade oat flour, Splenda, vanilla-based casein protein powder, baking soda, baking powder, and of course, ground cinnamon. So this is another one of those magical recipes where we're mixing together some wet ingredients, mixing together some dry ingredients, combining the two for some anabolic deliciousness. But before we get to actually putting the ingredients together, we have to take care of our banana first by mashing it up. 200 grams of banana in a smaller bowl. Gonna mash it up. I'm gonna be using a fork, and we're gonna get this done first. And once you're done, it's gonna look something like this, like you have a little banana type porridge left. Now it is much easier to mash the banana if they're ripe, but you can get away with them not being totally ripened yet. But I would recommend, if you are gonna do this, try to find 2 bananas that are mostly ripe. It'd be much easier to mash them up. Okay, next step, here we go. First one we're going to be putting in is 150 grams of our unsweetened applesauce. $150 grams on the money. Next ingredient that we need is 180 grams of our non-fat Greek yogurt. Using our negative scale trick, measuring it out. 180 grams on the money. Next we need to add in 55 grams of our egg whites. $55 grams on the money. Then we need 5 grams of the vanilla extract. 5 grams on the money. And our last wet ingredient, of course, is the 200 grams of the banana that we've already mashed up. So we're putting this in next. And of course, it's pre-measured, so it's on the money. Now that we have all the wet ingredients in the bowl, we're going to stir it up. Hey, I'm not going to use this metal spoon though. I'm going to grab a spatula. Let the mixing commence. All right, and once you get everything into one uniform color, we're done with the wet ingredients. Now it's on to the dry ingredients. So simple and sweet here. If you wouldn't mind smashing the like button, subscribing if you're not subscribed, and hey, why don't you comment down below? Who's ever had banana bread before? If you have, was it protein banana bread? Let's talk about bread. Regular bread, banana bread, whatever bread, let's talk about it. Comment section, tell me your favorite. Go. First dry ingredient we have is 175 grams of our homemade oat flour going in. Next we need 99 grams of our vanilla-based casein protein powder. You can use whey, but I've found that it doesn't bake quite as well, so I would highly recommend you use casein powder, unless of course you have Final Boss Cinnamon Toast Swirl. Then I would say definitely use that, because for some reason that seems to bake up really well. I don't know, Rem put some magical stuff in that. But anyway, here we go. 99 grams of our vanilla-based casein protein powder going in. It's a lot of protein powder, but there, it's 99 grams on the money. Nope, no big bag yet, but we're putting in 6 packets or 6 grams of our 0-calorie sweetener. In this case, we're using Splenda. 3 at a time. Had a packet malfunction. Let's go from the other side. Boom, 6 packets on the money. Next, we need 6 grams of the baking powder. Measuring it out. 6 grams on the money. Then we need 2 grams of the baking soda. Measuring it out. Happens quick, 2 grams on the money. And for our last dry ingredient, we're going to be putting in 8 grams of the ground cinnamon. Measuring it out. 8 grams on the money. So it's Been a quick minute, but we know when we have this many dry ingredients together in one bowl, we have to do some sifting or sieving. We still yet don't have a sifter. I like to show you guys with a fork anyway, because you probably have a fork and you don't have a sifter, but there will be a sifter coming soon. And once you see that it's all nicely incorporated, you are done sifting. Let's add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. We have our wet ingredients here, our dry ingredients here. What we're gonna do is add the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients in 3 different batches. That way it'll mix up very well. All right, let's do it. Batch number 1. Batch number 2. And finally, batch number 3. It's gonna seem like the dough's gonna be a little dry, but I'm telling you, just keep mixing and it's gonna all come together and be perfect. Continua. And once you have it all incorporated, it's going to be a very nice thick batter. Thick with 3 C's kind of batter. If it feels like it's tough to stir at the end, that means you did it perfectly right. All right, next step, we're putting this in a loaf pan after we spray it with some nonstick. Let's do it. Nonstick cooking spray loaded. Fire away. Whew. You know you're getting to the end of your nonstick when it starts wafting up into the air as you're spraying. Good thing we got plenty of this on hand. It's kind of like sugar-free syrup. You can never have enough. Always have more than you need on hand. General rule, that is all. Now this stuff would be good enough just to spoon into your mouth, but don't waste it by doing that. Trust me, it's much better baked up. All right, let's start spooning this into our loaf pan. And once you have every bit of anabolic goodness onto your spatula that's left in that bowl, it's time to flatten it out, push it out to the edges, and make it look pretty. If you have something like a spatula or even a spoon, you're gonna start pressing down on top of your dough while it's in the pan. It's gonna help it spread out, come into the corners, and be nice and flat on top. One of the reasons you want to level it off and make sure everything's at the same height is so you have a nice even bake. You don't want some parts cooking more than others and less than others, and then it's just a mess. So even it out. Once you've done that, it's time to put this into the oven that we've preheated at 325 degrees Fahrenheit or 160 degrees Celsius. We're gonna bake this up for 30 to 40 minutes. Right around the 25-minute mark is when you wanna start looking at it. Do the toothpick test, stick it right in the center. Keep doing that every 5 minutes. Then you'll know right when it's done. You don't wanna overcook this. All right, let's go, let's put it in. So after 30 minutes, this loaf finally passed the toothpick test. Dropped it right in the center, right there, as you might be able to see. And nothing came out. So now we're going to let this cool, and we're really going to let it cool for as long as we possibly can. If any of you saw the cinnamon square cookies that we tried to make from Coach Greg's Ultimate Anabolic Cookbook 2.0, they ended up looking like biscotti when we cut into it too early. So this one's gonna get plenty of time to rest, cool down, hopefully solidify, which I know it will because I've done this before. And then we're going over to the taste test table. Okay, so we've let it cool for a good 20 or 25 minutes. And anyone who saw the cinnamon raisin square video that I did understands my apprehension on taking this out of the loaf pan. That did not go well, but anyhow, we're gonna give this a go now. It's got to be completely cooled by now. So what I'm gonna do is try to take it out of the loaf pan. Hopefully it falls right out in loaf form, and I'm gonna toss it on a plate that's right behind it here, and then we're gonna slice it up, hopefully just like you would slice bread, and we'll take it over to the taste test table. All right, ready? Moment of truth. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right, let's slice it up. Get over to the taste test table. All right, we're back at the taste test table, and I have our Cinnamon Swirl Banana Bread Loaf here. 3 pieces cut up very nice. As you can see, it held together. This loaf is still nice and solid, as you can tell there. See, look at all that goodness in there. Nothing's flat. Nothing like the cinnamon raisin squares at all. If you want to see what it looks like per slice, look at all that deliciousness in there. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness. The loaf actually raises up a little bit more with the casein protein powder, so I definitely recommend you do that. But the number one recommendation is to let this thing cool. Give it time. It's gonna smell delicious. You're gonna wanna cut right into it, but don't do it. Let it rest. Get it to where it's almost completely cooled off. Then start taking it out of the pan and cutting your slices then. Totally worth the wait. So, without any further ado, let's try a slice of this beautiful loaf. All right, I'm gonna go with the middle one here. All right, first bite, always the best bite. Here we go. Oh wow. Surprises me every time how good this is. This is delicious. If you've ever had banana bread before, the anabolic version of that carb-loaded version that you're used to, total game changer. This is so good. It's so moist in the middle. Yeah, so the outside is cooked perfect. The middle is so moist. It's not undercooked, it's not overcooked. It's perfect. Once you bite into it, oh my god, it's like a flavor explosion. If you like cinnamon, you're gonna love this. The texture is perfect. I'm big on the texture. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but really into the texture of the food, and this is spot on. So many times with some of these high protein anabolic recipes, they kind of can taste a little spongy or a little too chewy. This is exactly like bread. Like, you would not know the difference. I would line this up against any banana bread out there. You would not be able to tell this is made with protein powder and there's none of that other junk that goes into your regular ass banana bread. No, this is so good. The banana's there. Obviously, it's a big part of the ingredients. That's providing a good base of moisture for this entire loaf. This recipe is fantastic. If you have any kind of craving for any kind of bread and you're looking for a way to get that in, man, this is dessert bread at its finest. It's just the right amount of firmness, just the right amount of moisture. The sweetness is perfect. The flavoring is so well balanced, it's unbelievable. I'll flash up the macros here to show you what it is for the entire loaf and then what it is per slice and the number of slices that you can get out of this. The amount of protein in this is incredible. If you've been looking for an anabolic loaf, something to make that's pretty easy, the macros work so well for any kind of shredding diet plan. It's just like, oh, it's out of this world. I can already tell now, after having had 2 slices, this is a pretty dense banana bread. I mean, banana bread in general is pretty dense food, but because there's so much protein in this and the bananas, and there's a decent amount of fiber as well, once you start eating it, you start to feel full almost instantly after the first slice, which is great because that's what we want, right? We want something to be able to sustain us for a snack for the rest of the day. Maybe you need a quick breakfast in the morning, you can grab this. It's kind of like grabbing a muffin, right? Same thing, loaves, muffins, all the same stuff, just cooked differently in different size pans. You guys got to try this. If you do, please tell me in the comments section below. I'd love to hear about it. I know a lot of you have been asking for me to do a loaf. I wanted to come up with an original recipe that you guys could try, and I'm really curious to what you think of it. So please come back, let me know in the comment section. We'll talk about it, break it down, see if there's any way we can make it better, because you guys always seem to come up with some good tips to make it a little tastier or maybe to make it a little bit easier. So please let me know. One heck of a recipe right here, if I do say so myself. And I don't rate my own recipes, but if I was going to, I would say it's an 11 out of 10. Easy, 11 out of 10, but I don't rate my own recipes. Oh man. All right, well, I gotta get up out of here or I'm gonna really start thinking about using this knife to cut more slices, and I'm gonna tear through this 3rd slice in about no time. So how about we say we catch up in the next one? Sound good? All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.